does. That's the theory.
There's probably infinite possibilities on what could be out there.
Yeah. Ethan, you need to get hyped up, dude. Get hyped up, Ethan!
What is going on?
That's what my ancestors used to do in Sweden.
Really? Before they
get hyped
raid
up.
a village or something?
Yeah. This is episode 19 of the Beanie Podcast. My name is Ethan Qualsett.
And I'm Ben, and over here we got our friend Carter.
We have our friend Carter Prang.
I'm feeling.
He's mid Pop-Tart. He's
mid-tart, if you will.
He's mid-tart. So this is the 19th episode. We again have Carter Prang on his second
Pop-Tart.
Appearance and his second Pop-Tart. He's feeling hyped up. Carter, how's it going? We are now we are what
Done
day
with
is it
classes.
today? Yes, yeah, that's a really big thing.
13th. It's
Yeah.
Friday the 13th.
Oh, it's Friday the 13th. Ben and I and Carter, I'm assuming, we've had to. We are all now done with our classes, our lectures.
Mm-hmm.
Next week will be our finals.
Boo.
Boo. Cancel finals.
Snow days.
But I'm looking forward to not having classes.
Yeah.
It'll just be days to study. I feel good about that. Having days to study, I feel good about that. We made it through Dead Week.
Yeah.
We made it through this Dead Week that everyone's been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I had my art history final today. Went well. So we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Didn't get a 100, so...
Didn't get a 100, which is a yeah, didn't get a 100, but I'm not too worried. I have my psychology on Monday, and then Carter and I have math on Wednesday.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm too excited about it.
I don't know. I'm not that excited either.
No, I don't think so. What about you, Ben?
I have Tuesday and Thursday.
Tuesday and Thursday. What classes do you have left? Because you don't have any exams. You just have the...
I have an exam and 2 essays.
Oh, you do have an exam?
Yeah, for psychology.
Okay.
I literally have 4 exams. Stupid. I already had one yesterday, too.
Studying is kind of a lot for all of them.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Studying for exams isn't amazing. Anything more? Is anything school related coming up? I don't think so. When do people in high school get out?
Why do you want to know that?
So his
I just wanna
siblings
know.
are in high school? Yes, so now we can hang out with them as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. No, I was just wondering. I was just kind of thinking because we're done with classes. I don't really know if high school probably has another.
They get out Wednesday, I think, next week.
Oh, okay.
Dang.
Okay, poor kids.
Yeah.
Poor kids. What do you mean?
I have to get out a day later.
So do I.
Oh yeah. And I guess I'm getting out on the same day. I end on the 18th as well. So let's do first semester college. In comparison to a year of high school.
A lot more work.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's for me it's been easier. There's not as much to worry about. I'm always working on stuff. So things have been easier. I do think there's a lot more work, but we have less classes.
I mean, when I was in high school, I never did any homework at home because I did it all at school. You know.
Which I'm kind of impressed by. I don't know if I could get away with that. I don't think I take a lot of time. It takes a lot of
mental fortitude.
Yeah, mental. Yeah, like gathering. Just it all just kind of builds up, and then I have to work through it. I can't really just pop it out like nothing. So that's been one thing for me.
Yeah, it's been a lot more work for me. I've spent hours upon hours on studying for like calc exams and still done like mediocre.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I don't really have any concept of like how long I've spent studying math.
Mm-hmm. Where there's so much in the resource center that like time just doesn't exist in there anymore.
It's like it's an otherworldly space.
Yeah, I bet if we add up all the time, it probably is like more than like 2 days.
Yeah, I think most definitely.
Because like going like 3 hours, like 2 or 3 times a week, adds up.
Yeah. It's for sure a lot of studying. I'm trying to think of something to talk about besides
School.
Besides school. I don't want to talk about school. But what could we talk about? I don't have anything relevant.
I mean, I watched you know the video game Rust?
No.
Yes, it's like it's kind of like a survival, like you're getting materials.
I've never actually played it, but I always watch this one YouTuber's videos just because they're so well made.
Wait, what if we're thinking about the same person? Because I've watched videos. Is it like does he set up like a story?
Yes.
He does? Yeah.
Wait,
I love that
let's say
guy.
his name.
No, I have no idea what his name is.
Wait, does he like? What's his favorite food in the game?
I don't know. Pumpkins? Yeah! Because he sets up like a pumpkin patch. Yeah, I love that because he sets up a story. He makes it. He makes it into this grand.
Like, now
thing.
it's time to get my revenge.
Yeah, he always has things about revenge, and if there's like a big base, he infiltrates and will steal and then like take people out when the guards are down and just make it his own thing. He has this just giant story. Yeah, I really like that guy. I don't know if I subscribe. Has he been posting recently?
Yeah, he posted like a few days ago. I just watched it.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know if I've subscribed to him. I definitely went on like down a rabbit hole of watching his videos, but I don't actually know if I.
Yeah, I'm like mostly caught up.
Okay. Yeah.
He releases one like every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, I really like that guy. Oh, Rust.
Can robots be human?
Depends. What's the robot made out of?
Metal.
What kind of software? Like, is it
Is
like
this the
artificial
question
intelligence?
of robots being able to think?
Mm-mm.
Can robots be human?
Yeah, like Ghost in the Shell.
Oh.
I haven't seen that movie.
It's the greatest movie ever made.
I thought you said Akira was the greatest movie ever made.
What's Akira?
I don't know, but yeah,
Akira!
I really don't have any idea of what Akira is either.
It's only the greatest movie ever made by humans.
Well, that helps.
Do you three right now want to create the plot to a science fiction film?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jinx.
Okay.
Jinx.
Where do we want to go? Do we want to go off of tropes? Do we want to try to set up?
No, we're just making it from the ground up.
Yeah.
Ground up. Okay.
So there's this man.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got a main character. So
What's his name?
There's a man. His name is. It's so we're going future. How far? Let's set this. Set the time. Let's give the setting.
Okay.
It's like
1943.
That's not.
Divergent future.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what does that mean?
Divergent future. It's when it's like an alternate history.
Oh, okay.
So it's like.
All right, let's change this to 1973.
What happened in that? You can't. I'm gonna be embarrassed by my lack of historical
I don't know
knowledge.
that much about.
In 1973,
The Dynasty of UCLA.
It was no longer 1972 anymore.
I like that.
It was like the golden age of the NFL.
Well, let's go. Let's go like
Future.
hyper reality or hyper future, so we don't have to.
Okay, that was before concussions existed, right?
Let's go 3072.
3072.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
30.
That's a good year.
The year's 3072. What
years.
does the world look like?
The world is all right. Is it good or bad, Carter?
it's not.
Yeah,
doing
like, are we in
super
a
well.
good place? I feel like at 3072, we've either figured it out or we're in a bad place.
No, it's like separate. Like the part of the world is like Mad Max, but in other parts of the world is like the.
There's like bubbles.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
bubbles,
So-
and then
oh,
like
yeah.
you know, like the Temple of Babylon. That's like, or the Hanging Gardens in Babylon.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Have
That's
you,
what
heard,
the-
have you heard the thing where it's like every utopia is a dystopia?
Yeah,
No, there's no such thing as a utopia.
I have heard that because
Yeah.
you said it to me once while we were going to sleep.
Yeah,
It was one
So
of
what's
our
his
in
name?
the same
before-
bed.
Oh, what's the guy's name? So we were not in the same bed. All right, so we got 37. It's 3072. We have this world that's. Oh, now is it Earth?
Yes.
Okay, but it's like post-Earth.
Kiss.
Apocalyptic.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Okay, so it is Earth, and the world's parts. A majority of, let's say, a majority of it's ravaged. It's
Wow.
like it's not. It's like desert, but it's like a.
Ghost
it's like
town?
desert on steroids a little bit in the fact that
Yeah.
the sand is like. It's like
Alive.
glass because the world's been just like it's bombed and just volcanoes are erupting, but all the volcanoes are kind of cooled down, but it's like dunes of glass.
It's just like a wasteland.
But it is a wasteland. There are portions of just hard like salt, just salt flats, rock. But then there's all other places where it's more duney, but it's ravaged. It's very hot, and then there are bubbles. What's the technology? What are we talking about for the technology?
They make
They're
the
literal.
bubbles.
They're literal bubbles.
How'd they blow them?
Yeah.
They just went.
No.
What are they made? They're made out of a.
Plexiglass, because they have so much glass already, and they have a certain air filtration that keeps it.
Okay, so they have air. It's a bubble that's cleaned through air filtration.
And they're underground
Oh.
Oh.
because then the sun would be shining through those plexiglass and it would make everything hot inside.
Well, they've developed so
Shaders.
it keeps it actually at a very pleasant temperature year
Okay.
round.
They have space travel.
Yes, so space travels.
To the moon.
Space travel's evident.
No,
To the moon.
They've been to Neptune.
Bubbles made of. I think it's a new material. We don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's name it.
It's a man-made element.
Something glass.
Bubblegone.
Bubblegum.
I like that. I think that'll work.
That sounds like a. What's that one
Bubblegum?
product we made? It was something. It was those bags that connected by the cows. That's what that sounds like. That's what that sounds like.
What?
Bubblegum. It's something glass, like hexaglass.
Hexiglass.
Polyglass.
Polyglass. I like that. Cause like,
How is it many though?
Because how it's connected, and it's not like in panes.
Polyglass.
It's not like in panes, but it's poly is like means many, so like it kind of can move however it wants.
Oh,
Hectoglass.
it's like living polyglass. It's like living. It's like a
Whoa.
living glass
Because like
that
hexaglass is like
regulates temperature.
it can only
It's
move
an
a certain
actual
amount.
creature.
Yeah, but it's a creature in the fact that it has program. It's programmed, but it's like making its own decisions. So
Yeah.
it's like self-sustaining. So that you
Yeah.
make it, you set it up, and then it's making decisions to regulate temperature. Maybe there's some defense elements. How many bubbles and how wide how large are they?
There's 3 bubbles.
There's 3
Bub
bubbles.
1, Bub 2, Bub 3.
So
What?
3 are they?
I was
Are they
thinking-
regions?
I was thinking like a 4 blocks of a city.
Yeah.
It's like covered, and then
Okay.
like outside of that, it's kind of like the peasants like buildings, like shacks and
So
huts.
within each, well, there wouldn't be any shacks and huts because remember we're living in 3072. So this is a bubble filled with a very technology advanced.
No, outside of the bubs.
Yeah, outside the bubble.
Oh, you're saying outside the bubbles?
Yeah,
Oh,
like the people
okay.
that can't afford to get in.
Right.
I'd like to pass a motion that from now on we refer to the bubbles as bubs.
I accept.
Yay?
I accept.
All right. So peasants, to get into a bub, you've got to.
There's a certain intelligence.
It's
physical-
intelligence, it's pedigree, it's money, it's cash. You have the you've got to have the cash money to get into one of these bubs. And so within your living, how is the world? Is there a need for trade? What are these people doing for like a living? What's the point in government? Is each bub ruled by its own government?
It's an oligarchy.
It's an oligarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so ruled by
Ruled
the
by-
family?
yeah, ruled by a
one
family.
family. I think it should be one family ruling all 3 bubs.
Okay.
Because
And they live on the moon.
with the
What?
with the polyglass.
Yeah.
That living, it's like a speaker. It's a surveillance system. It's a broadcast system. So you're able to rule from an alternate location.
Yeah.
No one knows who the family is.
Okay.
What's the family's name? No, they know the name, but they're not like seen. They're not present ever.
The Smiths.
The Smiths. Is that a good name?
And they
How
really, and they
futuristic-
really like the Smiths band from the 1980s.
Are the names? We have to decide, I guess, right now if the names are going to be futuristic.
Zorglaps.
Zorglaps, or like like Smiths 3 or something. There has to be like a number. Smiths.
Like Smith with
Smith
but the
Z3.
I is a 1
Oh yeah, the I is a 1.
and the S is a 5.
Okay, that's cool.
yeah.
So
I like
Smiths.
that.
So they're ruling this collection of 3 bubs. I really like saying that. I think it's gonna grow on me.
Yeah.
Are the people who are living outside? What are they called? They're like the outsiders.
They have civil wars over how to pronounce the Smith's name. Like, is it 5 myths
Oh
or
gosh.
Smiths?
The peasants do.
Yeah.
Is that what's keeping them outside?
Yes.
Is their
Because they
constant
can't pronounce it right.
their
Yeah.
constant civil war is repressing them.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the story pans to our main character, whose name is
Mimsy.
maybe like Jack or some like very simple
Judas.
Mac. Smack.
Smack. Yeah, I like Smack.
Oh,
And Smack finds out that he is a part of the 5 myth Smith family.
but he's also like a rogue like trader that goes from bub to bub.
Where does he
He's
live?
like a
How old?
gunslinger
How
kinda.
old are we
He's
talking?
30 and he's lived outside the Bubs his whole life. But then one
He's
day,
30. That's too old. You can't open a
all right,
story
he's
on.
4.
No.
All right,
He's,
so
like-
he's 19.
He's
Yeah.
19, all right, and then so he's lived his whole life out the Bubs, but then one day, his family's visited, and then by these guys in like crazy looking cars, and they're like, hey, you're actually you're a Smith, you're a Smith, and he's like, what?
Smack Smith.
Smack Smith.
Smack Smith.
So then he's like, who are these guys then? And they're like, oh yeah, those are just random people that found you, that brought you in their house. You're not actually your parents. And he's like,
Yeah.
what?
So then he has like this moment where
He has to
he has
choose.
a connection to his biological.
It's like in Star Wars when Luke goes and looks at the 2 moons, and he's like,
Yeah, he's sad.
yeah,
Yeah.
I want something more.
So
hate
what does he
sand.
do? What does he decide? So he's told that these. But what does that change if he's a member of the Smiths?
Then they say you have to come live in the Bubs now, and you're gonna be in our regime.
But he doesn't like that.
Yeah, he
he's not
doesn't-
sure what to do.
Yeah, he's not sure what to do. So then they're like, so he resists.
Here now. Before we get too far into this, I think we should. If someone has an alternate idea, I think that should be proposed.
Okay.
Smack actually lives in Bub 2.
Okay.
And he's lived there his whole life. He's 19 years of age, and there's a little bit of rebellion going on between the Smiths and some of the people who don't conform within the Bubs.
Yeah.
And no one knows who the Smiths family is, and that's why there's maybe there's an unfair law or someone like
But they try to kill anyone who is. Who
they
is
try
a
to
Smith,
try to kill anyone who
they think is a Smith.
not a Smith. Not
Yeah.
Smack, but the Smiths are trying to kill anyone who's not.
But
Who's
that'd be-
against this? Who's against
Okay.
the Smiths?
I was gonna say that'd be like almost everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a
Right.
Smith.
They're trying to kill people who are going against Smith, who have made a move.
Yeah.
And so so it's a world. It's very technology advanced.
There's like,
Smith,
oh,
there
Blade
has to be
Runner.
there has to be something cool about Smith. What is Smack? What is his
He has
What does
3
he
ears.
have? He has 3 ears. He has like robotic arms or something. He has
That's like
robotic
in
arms.
One Punch Man.
Yeah. Like Genos?
Yeah.
He has robotic arms. Well, he has a human body.
How about he has a
Metal
he has a
arms.
robot heart.
He's a robot heart along with robot arms.
Okay, cool. Let's compromise.
I like
Yeah,
one
let's-
robot arm.
He has
robot arm.
he has one
One
robot,
robot arm.
He has 1.5 robot arms and a
Okay,
robot
okay,
heart.
I can work with that.
Yeah. Okay, so his left arm is completely metal from the
Hand to the elbow.
hand to elbow is robot, and then he has
Oh wait,
also
no, shoulder to elbow.
shoulder to elbow is metal.
Yeah.
It's a human hand. and he has a robot heart, and so do people the games. There's a series maybe things that become so hyper
Political, like
hyper
today.
political.
And then you find out that it actually takes place in 2019.
Oh my god.
Oh, so there's the Smiths, but there's also like a rising faction of people that oppose the Smiths, and they're the Johnsons. And,
Johnson.
and the O is a 0. And yeah, I think that's all.
I like that.
That's
I like
sick.
that.
That's sick.
And there's like a rising faction of like people that like they like meet under the bubs, and like no one really knows like, but there's like a
Yeah.
like
There's talk.
hubbubaloo.
Yeah,
or
they
whatever.
meet outside of the bubs where no
if-
one goes.
what if-
They're
what if
not
he-
under surveillance.
What if he is a Johnson? He's born as a Johnson, but then through some political
Well,
shenanigans.
Johnson's and the Smiths. So the Smiths are seen as an oligarchy.
like- yeah.
The Johnsons are more of a gang. They're not.
Yeah.
Is that how you're saying it?
They're
It's not a
trying to, like,
family. It's like if you're
topple
brought in, you become a Johnson. Even, but you're not like born.
Okay, I got
It's
an
kind
idea.
of like employee-owned businesses.
So
Okay,
so
yeah.
Smack is jiving with the Johnsons, right?
Smack's driving with the Johnsons, but the Johnsons are just coming up.
Yeah.
And so it's like the story develops when he's introduced to the Johnsons at like a point in the story.
Okay.
And I think there's a series of games, and it's like war game. It's like Gladiator. It's like
They go out and then-
Neo Gladiator, and
Yeah.
it's so they have this entertainment, and the Smiths are the ones who are kind of over. They have robot stand-ins for the Smiths.
Okay.
So people think that they're the Smiths, but no one has any way of knowing. You know, in
Yeah.
One Punch Man, like the Metal Knight,
Yeah.
he would send like robots that he'd made, and he has surveillance through them and stuff, but he's
Yeah.
not actually there. So the Smiths have like a robot, like a stand-in.
Okay.
That's there. So
Wait,
it's
wait,
like
wait.
it's a idol that's kind of represented as a Smith or the Smith.
How do you like this? So he's driving with the Smack is driving with the Johnsons, right?
yeah.
But then he finds out that he himself is a Smith, right?
How does he find it? How is he a Smith though?
they search him out, and then because he was an orphan originally,
Okay.
and then they search him out when he's just at home one day, and they're like, "Yo, it turns out you're a Smith."
And they're like doing like a census or something.
Yeah, and then I don't know. They just find out,
Mm.
or how about he does something crazy in the arena, and they have
Yeah.
him tested, and they're like, "Wait a minute, this guy's a Smith."
Because his DNA matches the Smith DNA bloodline
Yeah.
that they have
Yeah.
on record.
And then so they're like, "All right, here's what we want you to do." They don't know he's driving with the Johnsons.
Yeah.
right? So they're like, "All
Because
right,
he's
we
been
want you to
talking.
take out
He's
the
been working
Johnsons."
as essentially a tool of utility in the arena by the Johnsons, like
Yeah.
to exert power. Because the Smiths
Yeah.
are running this thing, and so if the people that are the Smiths are hiring and sending in as their person in the arena is getting beat all the time, that's not good. That's not good for the Smiths. So Smack's driving with the Johnsons.
Yeah.
And he finds out that he's a Smith.
Yeah, so he's no longer Smack Johnson, he's Smack Smith.
Smack Smith.
You're the one that said that earlier.
Yeah, you're right. Smack Smith. So,
He's faced like a decision.
so
like,
what does he do? I mean, what point is he put into this dilemma where he's split between being Smack the Smith or Smack the Johnson?
So his whole life he's been raised by the Johnsons to be like, okay, the Smiths are horrible people.
Mm-hmm.
They're really bad. But then he gets to know them, and they're not as bad as he thinks they are.
Oh, interesting.
who aren't as bad as Smiths?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I like where you're going. I'm gonna say where I thought it was gonna go. Where the Smiths weren't actually a real family, and they didn't exist, and it was more of like
It's the bub.
Bubs. Yeah, the Bubs.
The bub, the literal thing.
And so it
It's
was like it was more against man versus machine rather man versus self.
that's freaking BA.
Man versus self.
I like
Because
that.
now we're in a situation where Smack is kind of questioning himself as a Smith or a Johnson, But if the Smiths weren't real and everything's controlled by the Bubs, it was like, what do we do? It's such a big opposition.
This is turned
don't
into
really
an
know.
actual thing that I would want to write.
Well,
they wouldn't know if the Bubs are like.
but they find it out somehow. That's
How'd they
the point
find
of the
out?
story. Well, that's what we're here to figure out.
Okay, let's figure that out.
Well, if the Bubs, they make a plan. So it's been happening. They're like, they're discussing. They're like, we've done all this stuff. It's not seeming really to work. Things aren't changing. We're gonna assume that like the chain of command is like it's unfair. Things are unfair for these people.
Yeah.
So let's just go with that. And they're like, what's our most direct link to the Smiths? Like, how can we do this? And they're like, there's a robot, the Smith, like who talks and announces and is there present at the game. So that what they want to do is
there's always an assassination attempt, but it always goes horribly wrong.
right, yeah, that kind of built up. But they're like, what if we work our way, instead of being so offensive in these assassination attempts or games or whatever, what if we try to go directly in and we see where this leads back? We see where this program, it has to be broadcasting somewhere. Where does it lead back? So they get into it somehow. They pass there's some guards or something. They get back and they hack into the guy. They somehow find out, and it's like it doesn't lead back anywhere.
Yeah.
And they're like, they're like, how's it?
Like,
It's like coding for the BUB. It's like it goes
Yeah.
back to the main
So, like,
framework, and they're like, we know what this is. There's a guy in the Johnsons who worked programming the BUBs. He
Yeah.
worked on the plexiglass or
Okay.
the polyglass.
But not understanding.
And
the
so not
implications.
understanding the implications, because maybe when they were programming it, how did the Smiths, if the Smiths aren't real, how did they get into power? Maybe that's part of the backstory. Maybe that's part of the backstory is like when they're creating the BUBs and they're saving Earth. It's a panic because they're like they're not going to survive outside of these BUBs.
Yeah.
They're coming into power, and so just kind of the Smiths or the programming behind the cities started working itself into the polls are being elected or somehow work themselves into power without anyone ever really noticing and everyone just kind of complying. And so they hack into this thing. They realize that it's not leading anywhere. It's more drawn out, but they realize that it keeps leading back to the BUB's algorithm and what's going on.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And then they get maybe it
I got an idea.
it lashes out.
I got an idea. So then they just see this the algorithm of the BUB, right? And they're like, all right, what happens if we try to mess with it, right? Because nothing else is working. So they try to mess with it, and then all of a sudden everything goes black, right?
Yeah.
Like the entire thing shuts down, right? And it's just Sm4ck, and he's floating in space, and he's entered the subconscious
Whoa.
of the BUB, and then he and the BUB have this heart to heart.
This isn't the end of the movie?
No, this isn't the end. And then
Okay.
the BUB's gonna tell him what he needs to do to help these people.
The BUB's evil.
The BUB's evil.
Oh, the BUB's evil?
Well, yeah, because it's
Yeah,
the
the
polyglass.
whole
The
trapping
BUB is the one
all the
controlling
people.
it.
Okay, or how about he
Maybe it's
he
a
gets
warning.
gets a message
Maybe it's
from the creators
It's
of
a
the
warning,
BUB.
don't go down
Maybe
this path or don't
he's
mess
floating,
with the BUB.
and then it's it's a warning. It's like a maybe
The BUB shuts down and nobody can leave or enter.
yeah. So it maybe goes on lockdown
Yeah.
or something, and so they're in their place and they're like, oh, it's the BUB.
Wow.
But then now everyone else is in there and knows. Maybe the person who's hacking, So let's say there's
Sm4ck. Is Sm4ck the one hacking?
no,
No, you
it's
can't.
someone else.
Who's
It's someone else
his
because that
friend?
person dies. That
Okay.
person dies.
Who is that person? Is it Sm4ck's friend?
Sm4ck's friend.
His mentor in the Johnsons.
A hacker that they have in the Johnsons. That maybe is one of his best friends.
Okay, what's his name?
Plaque.
Plaque. T.
Spelled P-L-A-K. Plaque.
Plaque.
Plaque spelled like teeth is kind of gross.
How about Richard?
Richard.
Richard the hacker.
Okay, we need to think of a letter. We need to think of a number.
The Richard
Or-
is replaced with a 4.
What?
A 4.
The whole word is replaced by
Oh,
a 4?
the R.
It is a 4, but it's pronounced Richard.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Alright, so Richard. Richard.
So he's hacking.
Okay, so Richard hacks in, and he's like, they can see what he's seeing. He's like, all right, it's the algorithm for the bub, guys. What's going on? So he's like, all right, I'll try to do something for it. And then he dies. The bub kills him.
Richard
dies.
Like he was working at like a remote
Richard dies. Well, he's in there. They're in like the base. They're in the base.
Got inside.
No, they're in the bub.
They're
They
just, like,
live in
inside.
the
Story
They
doesn't
live in
take
the
place
bub.
outside the bub at any
yeah.
point
Okay.
to now.
They live in the bub.
Yeah.
So they're
So they're
plugged
hacking
like,
in the
wall,
bub.
and it's like,
Well, maybe
You
it's just
can
like
enter
it's,
and exit the bub, but they never do up to this point in the story. I don't know if we're gonna enter exit later, but
Oh, Carter's saying like, how does he hack into the?
Like, is
thing?
he in the middle
He
of
can.
it?
He can just do anything. He can be a computer. He can He can plug himself in.
it doesn't like a so you said it was like a security broadcast system. He like goes into one of those, and then it's connected to everything else.
Yeah.
So,
So
like-
he can get himself into whatever he uses to hack into other things. He just has to work his way through and port it into the bub. So whether
So when he ports
it's a
it-
computer or something that's like, hey, he gets into it. He gets into it.
yeah, what I think he does is he's trying to hack in, and he makes this algorithm that's like this really offensive like Trojan horse like to plug into the bub.
Okay.
But as soon as he tries to like plug it in, like it like realizes what it is, and then it destroys like his computer
done.
and him with it.
He dies.
That's how he
Robot.
He
dies.
dies. Richard dies.
Oh, Richard, yeah, 4.
Richard, pronounced Richard, dies, and so, so he's dead, and now they realize that the bub made something is happening. I think the reveal that the bub isn't, or the Smiths aren't real, only happens at the very end, and that's like that's the twist, because now they're just like, the Smiths killed him, the Smiths killed Richard. And so then now they have to find. Now they're like working even harder to find him.
I think
Then
Maybe-
what should happen, Carter? What should happen next?
I was just thinking the Smiths, they used to exist, but they don't anymore. Like there was like a group of people that made all the bubs.
Yeah.
But like the original Smiths all died, but they got all their consciousnesses uploaded, and they're like not really that present, but like they exist in a way.
Maybe they're becoming less and less prevalent because the program.
Because the bub is pushing them out of the way.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. That is exactly what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
So like we can continue to rule, but now it's like it's not them anymore.
Yeah, the
It's
bub is like trying to oust
The consciousness of the
Smith
Smiths.
so it can take over the thing
Yeah.
itself.
Because they're like made the AI, and it was like all fun and games at the beginning, but then the AI started getting more powerful, and that was how they ended up dying so early in their lives because of the bub.
Is it like an
And that's why they had to
biological
transfer like
AI?
they had
because the bubs are alive, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like the bub like took their bodies and like made it, since they're kind of robots, they like did something that like slowly would deteriorate their bodies, so they're like, we have to upload our consciousnesses, otherwise
Yeah.
we're done
Yeah.
for.
Okay, so they're there. I don't really the twist of it being only machine at the end. I don't know how that comes about, or I don't know how could we pull in the ravaged section of the Earth, the outside
An assassination
The
attempt
wild.
actually works.
on the robot.
Yeah.
Okay, then what?
And everyone's like, ah.
So then maybe they're pursued then, and then they're like, oh gosh. So maybe they're getting like.
We could so here's something somehow the Smiths kind of catch wind that Sm4ck Smith is trying to do this crazy stuff.
Does he still find out that he's in the family?
Yeah,
Okay.
but they kind of oust him from the family. They're like, all right, you're causing too much trouble, this is not
Oh
a good
well,
idea."
no, they're not real. The Smiths aren't real.
Oh shoot, that's right.
Well, they look at it as a criminal record, and they're like, well, we would let you like go in the palace and like do all this, but there isn't a palace.
And there's no Smith.
Okay,
There's
so
no Smith.
who's the higher authority that's physical in this?
That
I don't know if
robot
there's,
seems
does
like the
anyone
highest.
know?
Because I'm thinking that he gets they chase him out of the city, and then he has to retreat into the desert.
Yeah. Okay, so I think there's definitely there's people stationed as far as like a political main person. I don't know if there's any because it's all governed by the bubs, but they definitely have a police force. They definitely have guards or people working very closely with the bubs.
They don't they're like, oh, Smith, we're loyal to Smith.
Who are
Yeah.
actually
Ro-
AIs created by the bub.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they're robots, and maybe there's some really cool ones.
Yeah.
Like there's a few main bad
There's
guys.
a spider one,
Yeah, there's a robot spider.
and it's called Arachno Nick.
Arachno Nick.
Yeah, no, like Arachno Nick.
Okay.
With a 1
Yeah.
instead of. Okay.
No, with 3 instead
Is his
of a K.
name Nick?
Oh, okay.
He's like Arachno Nick, but like Nick
But-
is like a human name.
Yeah.
Nick?
So he's like
Okay.
a centaur
There's
spider?
Arachno
Yeah,
Nick.
like that's what I was thinking.
Whoa.
Centaur spider, like bottom.
Yeah.
All right, wait. How could we? Oh, I got an idea. They're like dudes riding on lizards from the desert.
Yeah, and they're like a different tribe that's like they've tried to live without the bub. Like
Whoa.
they've lived separate from the bub for the long time, and like haven't developed
And
like
they meet Sm4ck out in the desert.
as soon as he
Yeah.
gets like kicked out
yeah,
or whatever
and
for
they're like riding like giant bearded dragons or something.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
and what's their name though? They'd probably be like the maybe.
I don't think they're that
No.
primal. So we've got the Smiths,
the
the
Johnsons.
Johnsons, and the
And they're the exiled clan called that was the name.
the Thaxons.
No, I just said the name. I was like,
That's hard to pronounce.
It's pronounced Thaxons.
I want it to
Is
be
how
another.
you spell it.
I want it to be another generic last name.
Okay.
I know, that's what I'm trying to think of. What's it?
The
Jones
Jones.
yeah,
that's pretty good.
The Jones with
Jones.
a with a
with
three
with
and
a
an out.
with a 9 instead of a J.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool. And a 3 instead of an E.
Yeah.
So the Jones. So they're a group of tough boy lizard riders.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like
They have like a camp like a few like 5 or 10 miles not that far away from the BUB.
Mhm.
And when like Sm4ck is walking, he's like walking through the desert, and like it's like a montage of him walking through the desert, and like he finally like passes out from like not getting enough water, and they like
Yeah.
discover him
Yeah. bring him
and then bring him back.
and the lizards hold like water in their mouths and they're like and then that's how he gets his water.
Oh, they like store it for the people?
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
and then they like kiss the lizards and then like get the water from their mouths.
Yeah, they have a very intimate relationship with the
Yeah,
lizards.
and then if their lizard dies, and they have to die too.
Yeah, they have to commit suicide.
Mhm.
So I think at this point it's good. I think it's they have it. He figures out with the Jones is like what's going on. He somehow contacts the Johnsons back at.
Should the Jones be the ones that tell him? It's like this is the very end of the book, like
Mhm.
10 pages left, or 20 pages left,
Yeah.
right? The Jones would tell him all the secrets of the Smiths, and that they worked with the Smiths.
Yeah.
And they got exiled by them, and then they stage a raid on the city.
Yeah, they stage a raid on the city. Then the city shut. They get it, and the BUB shuts down. So this is like kind of it's like a win-loss.
Yeah.
So they get rid. They kill. They somehow. There's a raid on the city. A lot of lives are lost. The BUB shuts down. It's a closing shot on Sm4ck.
Yeah.
But then it zooms out, and there's 2 more BUBs. They have
Whoa.
full, but there's 2 other full BUBs.
And they rise from the sand. They're like, what's going on here?
On like legs. They come out, and it's like a
Yeah.
defense system.
Yeah.
And then that's when it ends. That's when it ends. The other
And
BUBs.
we never write a sequel ever.
Oh man.
That'd be awesome. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
We did a good thing.
All right, so let's start from the beginning, and take it to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiss. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Smack boy. We have
So
Smack.
Sm4ck lives
A 19-year-old boy who lives in BUB 2.
Yeah.
But then, would that already reveal the twist though?
No.
Because then, if there's BUB 2, there must be like BUB 1.
Oh.
The BUB one got destroyed. Maybe.
How about?
Well, would they never allude to the other 2 BUBs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone thinks they're in their own BUB because the BUB controls like what they can see. So even if there's a BUB like 10 miles away, they can't actually see it.
Like it's projecting a different kind of
Oh,
outside,
'cause they never leave.
yeah, and they think that it's like
Absolutely awful.
like just terrible
volcanoes.
volcanoes and stuff like that. And then when the BUB shuts down, it's like, and then it all comes crumbling down, and then it's just sand everywhere, and
Whoa.
it's totally different from
Yeah.
what they thought was outside.
Yeah. Or it's yes. So for whatever reason, the BUB is projecting an alternate.
And then when they close
reality.
down, they see like other BUBs
Yeah.
in the distance, and then each one of those has like different reflections.
Do they rise up? Do they rise up, or is the twist that
there's more, and they're
there's
trying
more?
to free all these other people.
Yeah. Oh, but if they could see him, then Sm4ck would know that when he went outside
so
because he would
he's
be
like,
able to see him.
He's like, what? And
Well,
that's
no,
that's his
you
big,
can't
that's
see
one
from
of,
the outside.
Yeah,
Like the camouflage is on all the bubs, so it looks like there's only one bub.
Oh,
The one
so
that
you're
you're
saying
from.
you can't see it from the outside. But then that wouldn't allow people who are like watching or reading to know that there was
Yeah.
also bubs.
So let's just say that there's no camouflage, just like these giant, translucent, what they appear to be translucent bubs, right? Mm-hmm. And then he goes out, and that's one of the big twists. Like there's 20 pages left. That's one of the big twists. He's like, "There's bubs everywhere," and then the Jones tell him about the history of the Smiths. He's like, "All right, we need to do something."
Yeah.
So they go back and liberate all the people, and then they have that same revelation that Sm4ck did when he. They have that same revelation that Sm4ck did when it crashes down. They're like, "Oh, there's bubs everywhere."
Right. And then do the bubs become offensive?
I think
Like,
what happens.
This is like a defense. Maybe it like starts. It like blares a warning, and then it's like a defense system.
I think it's since the bubs are
like self-termination, and everyone's stuck in the bubs. Everyone,
Whoa.
all the other bubs, all the people are gonna die.
That's dark.
I think what's gonna happen is like some people will be like, "Oh, I liked living in this alternate world that wasn't like our
They
actual world."
crucify Sm4ck.
No.
That's okay. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. They crucify him upside down like Saint Peter.
Oh god! All right, no, back it up.
No.
Backspace. All right,
So
continue, Carter. They liked where they were.
they like
living.
where they were, and like the bub understands that and like has fortified everything, but they realize that they actually liked what they had in the bub. So a lot of people like there's like a big like the Trail of Tears. Like there's a bunch of them walking to the next bub
Oh.
because they're like we want back.
Oh
into
wait,
what
we don't
already
even know
had.
what the story's called yet.
The bub.
Outside the bub.
The bub life.
Bub life. Bub, not bubble.
The Ballad of Sm4ck.
Ballad of Sm4ck Smith.
The Ballad of Sm4ck Bubbly.
Sm4ck.
Everyone's
and the
last
Great
name's
Bub.
Bubbly. Oh, Sm4ck and the Great Bub. I like that.
Yes.
I really like that.
'Cause then it offers,
Sm4ck and the
like-
Great Bub.
And then we make the cover extremely graphic. So then because it kind of sounds like a kid's book.
Oh yeah, but we need to make sure that
That they
Yeah,
know.
we're not
like they're
pulling
gonna
any
have to sell
punches.
that book
We're not pulling any
with a
punches.
black wrapper around it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like there's nudity on the cover.
Why?
Why?
Who, Sm4ck?
Yes.
Sm4ck's naked.
Why?
And then we just take a picture of like some guy on the street.
How is that graphic?
No. We get a guy on the street and be like, "Hey, want to make some money?"
And he's Sm4ck.
Yes.
This 30-year-old guy we pull off the street is 19-year-old Sm4ck.
And he's naked on the front cover. He's like looking. And he's a little overweight. And he's like looking.
Like badly photoshopped a robot arms.
No, it's just like in Microsoft Paint they like cover over and like.
Oh yeah, but it's
gray.
like matte gray.
And then in the background there's the
All right.
bub.
On the back, yeah, in the background is the bub. Wait, no, he's in the bub.
It's like showing the scene when he leaves the bub.
Yeah, so he's naked, like posing.
He took all his clothes.
And posing.
He took all his clothes when he left
So
the bub.
he's a little overweight, but he's also like confident. You know?
Oh my gosh. Oh, honestly, I don't think we have to run back over it. I think that what we've laid down, I think people get the idea.
Yeah.
solid
And
groundwork.
I think that, yeah, we got some solid groundwork.
And if you steal this, we'll sue.
Yeah, no kidding. Sm4ck and the...
Smack in the great bub.
Sm4ck and the Great Bub.
Smack in the great bub.
Smack in the great
Sm4ck and the
bub.
Great Bub.
Oh my goodness.
Well, what a story.
Do you think he'll have a sequel?
What a story. No.
Never,
No.
never.
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 Never. It can't.
Ever.
It can't.
Never, ever.
If you're gonna write, here's an opinion.
space travel.
Here's an opinion of mine. Oh, that's true. But
That
I
could be
think
a totally
that's
different
that's
story.
a thematic.
Yeah.
That's a thematic element. I think that if you're gonna write a story, and if it's gonna have a good ending, even if it's a cliffhanger, you don't need to dilute the cliffhanger. You don't need to dilute the what would you say?
Dramaticity.
You don't have to. What you're doing by making a sequel is diluting all the drama that you set up from the first book. That's my opinion on some sequels.
Yeah.
Especially ones that
I
are
just
just
don't
like
like
cooked,
sequels in
are
general.
just cooked out for like money or to continue a story that doesn't need to be continued.
I feel like if you're doing sequels, you're not moving forward. So that's just lateral movement. You know what I mean?
That's good. That's a really good way to put it.
You're not on to the next thing and creating something new. You're just staying in stagnant, you know?
Yeah. I really do think it's a good cutoff. It's just that's what creates a story that's like a classic. We've talked about how we like single books, single movies, a single season of something, because it starts and ends itself within the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's appealing. It's appealing. It feels good. Well, that was good.
I think that was good.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
All right, I can play us out.
All right. Carter, you want to count them off? Give him a 3, 2, 1.
Oh, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8.